technical details today. So that's mostly why you are here. We'll go through some introductions first, and then I'll give you all each a chance just to say your name, what you teach, and which district and school you are currently working at, just so you can start to get to know each other, and we will go from there. So let's see. All right. So here we are. It's April. Yay. We all made it to April and almost May. Congratulations, everybody. I'm considering that a major accomplishment personally. So we'll start with our leadership team. I know I've emailed with most of you and had the opportunity to chat with you all online, but just as a reminder, I'm Kristen, Dr. Lindahl, and I'm an associate professor in bicultural bilingual studies. I actually started out more than 20 years ago. I won't tell you how many more years than 20 as a high school ESL and dual language teacher myself. So that was the beginning of my career in education, and it's led me here. So I'm really excited about this project because I not only enjoy teacher education and development, I really like working with schools and, of course, with you all as colleagues. So I'm really excited that you're here, and thank you again for joining us. I will go next to Dr. Huang, Dr. Becky Huang, who's joined us. Dr. Huang, would you mind taking a moment just to say hello and let us know a little bit about you for the other participants?
Can everyone hear me? Okay.
We can, yes.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you, Dr. Mendel, and good to see everyone. Hi, happy Thursday, and at the end of April. We're almost there, right? End of semester. So I'm Dr. Becky Huang. I'm in the same department as Dr. Lindell and the other two leadership team members. I'm also an associate professor in the bicultural bilingual studies. I was actually an EFL teacher in Taiwan. So I taught middle school, 7th, 8th, 9th graders. It's a very interesting age, a very interesting age range, and I learn a lot from working with them. I do miss them sometimes. Right now, I don't work directly with them, but I know many of you do. So I hope you're enjoying your everyday work life with middle school or secondary school students. I'm very happy to have the opportunity to speak with you tonight, and I hope to come. I hope we will cross paths again, maybe this summer at the whole group orientation that Dr. Lindell mentioned, or as you progress in the program, I hope to see you in classes or in other occasions. Okay. Thank you for being part of this awesome project. Welcome, everyone.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Huang. Let's go now to Dr. Bedreta Nyazan, who is one of our other co-PIs. Go ahead, Dr. Nyazan.
I know I'm mute, right? Hello, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Lindell. Thank you, Dr. Huang, for the introductions. I have been working at the UTSA for 2 years. Before that, I worked at the University of Alabama as a teacher, educator, and a faculty member in the College of Education. I specifically work with language teachers or world language teachers and ESL teacher candidates in Alabama for 6 years. Before that, I did my PhD at the University of Maryland, College Park. I lived there for 5 years. Before that, I used to live in Turkey, my home country. I taught English there as a foreign language, similar context to Dr. Huang's. So with students, K-12 and post-secondary students, of course, it's a whole different context than here. So here we teach English as a second language, or we work with emerging bilingual students. So I'm really excited to be working with you guys, especially this coming summer. The second semester of the summer, we are going to be meeting in person to have the class on second language acquisition theories, introduction to second language acquisition. The earliest I'm going to meet with you is that that time, and yeah, I'm really excited, and I'm so glad we have you guys as part of this project, and I'm looking forward to working with you.
All right, thank you, Dr. Nyazan. I also believe Dr. Solis is in our virtual room. Dr. Jorge Solis is also in our department. Jorge, would you like to take a moment?
Yes, good afternoon, buenas tardes. I'm Jorge Solis. I'm one of the associate professors here at the Department of Bicultural Bilingual Studies. Very, very happy to see all of you. Very happy to have you be part of our SELFIES team and look forward to meeting you very soon. I'll just say a little bit about myself. A lot of my work deals with helping understand biliteracy practices and biliteracy development in classrooms, particularly STEM classrooms, science and mathematics classrooms. I've been living now in San Antonio for 10 years. This is my 10th year, originally from Northern California, San Francisco, San Jose area. And yeah, so I've been working with different districts here in San Antonio ISD, North Side, Northeast, South Side, and hope to look forward to meeting some of you soon and learn more about your classroom settings. My interest around middle school and high school teachers has really to do with understanding the transitions that bilingual children have academically, socially, linguistically, culturally, the transitions, from middle school to high school, but also between subject areas. So, otra vez, look forward to talking to you very soon. I have a PhD from the University of California, Berkeley, and a degree in public policy from Stanford University. So, if you ever want to talk more about issues around policy or biliteracy or literacy in general, happy to have those conversations as well. Good to meet all of you.
Great, thank you so much. And Austin, did you get a chance to introduce yourself and let our participants know in which capacity you'll be working with them as well?
I didn't, but I didn't want to go first. So I think almost all of you, if not all of you, have met me before. My name is Austin Bonecutter Knight, and I'm an education specialist with the Academy for Teacher Excellence Research Center attached to UTSA. I am helping Dr. Lindahl and their co-PIs manage some of the more clerical parts of the project. So I'm helping them with recruitment, with interviews, and I'm also acting as your liaison. So if you have questions about UTSA Live or about getting things done in the UTSA system, please, you are so welcome to contact me. I love working with students. It's what I do all the time, every day, and it never gets old. So if you have questions about registration or if you don't know who to talk to about a problem, absolutely let me know and I'll be there for you. Oh, I should mention before I forget, I was part of the TESOL program at UTSA, and that is sort of how I got started here. So I have been through a lot of the same classes that you'll be taking.
Yes, I was actually just going to mention that, Austin. So that's fabulous. Austin has a unique perspective as an alumnus, as well as our liaison and contact in the Academy for Teacher Excellence. So as he mentioned, now you all have his email as well as the selfies@utsa.edu email. So we all monitor that regularly and are happy to answer any questions that you have. That's probably the easiest way to get a hold of us, as university phone systems are a little complicated at times with offices and things like that. So when in doubt, email is usually the absolute best way to go. We also, just as a reminder, we have some, let's see, can I advance the slide, Austin? No, I can't. Okay, thanks. Affiliated faculty working with the project that you will also meet either through project-related activities or because they will also be teaching some of the classes that you may take. They are Dr. Catherine Henderson, Dr. Siduri Christensen, Dr. Olesia Kiselev, and Dr. Shangfeng Tian, just so you can sort of see some faces and names there so that when you do meet, they will be somewhat familiar. And another benefit of the Project Selfies format is that you will get to work with a lot of other professors, not just the four of us. So in that way, you'll be able to make connections with the wider faculty in bicultural bilingual studies, which might inform you and throughout your journey as you begin some graduate coursework and hopefully continue it as well. So those are our affiliated faculty members. All right, so before we get into the activities, quickly. I know if sometimes introductions can end up taking a very long time if everybody talks for an extended amount of time. So if you would mind, just for the sake of time, we promise we'll let you all chat when we all get together, and we'll really encourage it. But if you could just at this point in time, tell us your name, and I'll just call a name if you want to just say hello so we can see you. Let us know what you're teaching and which school you are at right now. So we'll keep introductions brief, but we do want to also be able to put names with faces as well. So I am going to just go alphabetically, if that's okay. So Alejandra Gutierrez, you are first, if you wouldn't mind telling us, just saying hi, telling us what you teach and which school you are working at right now.
Hi, I am actually an instructional coach. So I work with all grade levels from kinder through 5th grade. And I work for San Antonio ISD. I'm at Herf Elementary. We're a dual language campus.
Okay, great. Thanks, Alejandra. We're so glad to have you here. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Next, I have Carla Duran. Do you mind?
Hi, I'm Dr. Carla Duran. I am the ESL teacher at Davis Middle School for SAISD and newcomer and dual language campus leader.
Awesome. Thank you, Carla. Thanks for joining us. Let's have next Alida Barrera.
Yes, hi, my name is Alita Barrera. I am teaching Spanish 2 to 8th graders and Spanish 2 honors to dual language 6th graders at Longfellow Middle School through SAISD.
Okay, all those sound like great classes. How fun. Thank you so much for joining us. Next, let's have Andrea Ramirez Ramos.
Hi, I teach science in Harris Middle School for SAISD. This is my 2nd year teaching, and this is the 1st year our campus is dual language. So my goal is to teach dual language in 8th grade.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much. How about Hannah Brewer?
Hello, I'm Hannah Brewer. I teach chemistry at Roosevelt High School in Northeast ISD.
Great. Thank you, Hannah. So good to see you again, and we are very glad you're here. All right. Elisa Murillo.
She's typing it in the chat. Hello,
She's typing it in the
Murillo.
Oh, that sounds great.
I teach social studies at Highland High School SAISD. I'm Zooming from a restaurant, so I'll communicate via text.
Great. Awesome. We got to love modern communication. Thank you, Elisa. It's great to have you in the project. We're glad you made it. Let's see. Next on my list, I think, is Yolanda Jimenez.
Hello, I am at Garner Middle School and I teach pre-AP and AP.
Awesome. Okay, great. Thanks, Yolanda. How about Maria Gonzalez?
Hello, everyone. I'm Maria Ana Gonzalez. I teach Spanish 1 to 7th and 8th graders at Longfellow Middle School. I work along with Ms. Alita Barrera. Awesome.
Oh, great. What a nice team. Awesome. Well, welcome, Maria. How about Maite?
Hola, my name is Maite Ruiz. I am a 6th and 7th grade science teacher at Edgar Allan Poe Dual Language STEM Middle School.
Awesome. That's great. Thank you, Maite. Thanks for joining us. Let's see. Next, I have Michael Flores.
Hi, I'm Michael Flores from Sam Houston High School in SAISD. I'm an instructional coach. So I get to work with teachers in their classrooms, and I also teach English.
Okay, great. You broke up a little toward the end, but I got your instructional coaching. So you're working with a lot of teachers and also teaching English. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Great. Thanks, Michael. Thanks for joining us. How about Patricia Barrios?
Barrios Mato.
Hi.
Patricia Paez, and I teach in Garner Middle School, Spanish literacy, 6th grade and 7th grade, pre-AP, the pre-AP class. Dual language.
Dual language. Okay, great. And so just making sure, because on my participant list, I had 2 Patricias, one Barrios and one Paez. Were you just on Zoom twice?
I'm sorry.
Oh, no, that's okay. I just wanted to be sure we didn't miss someone. Thank you so much. That's great. Lovely to meet you. All right. Well, thank you again for those brief introductions. We will move on now to our coursework and activities. So just as a reminder, for the coursework, you'll be doing one of our master's level courses per semester for a total of 5 courses, which we will talk about next. During the methods-oriented courses, so that's one in the fall and one in the spring, you'll get to also participate in a professional learning community to support your learning. You will also be able to engage in coaching sessions during those same classes. So in the fall and the spring when you're actually implementing. And then you will have the opportunity to take the ESL or the bilingual education and BT/LPT supplemental certification exams. And as you know, we are covering all of your tuition fees, books, and exam expenses, beginning with the recent application fee for which you received the code via email. So hopefully all that went well, but we will talk specifics about that if you had any questions or issues as you applied and to UTSA for the graduate program. So the way that your coursework will go is, this is what Dr. Nyazan was referring to earlier when he introduced himself, but you will have courses this summer. You'll have 2 4-week courses, so one each summer semester. So the first 4-week summer session, you'll have a linguistics course. And the second 4-week summer session, you'll have a second language acquisition course or an introduction to second language acquisition theories. Then in the fall, you will take, actually, and I think these have actually switched a little bit on our PowerPoint. The fall will actually be your content-based instruction course. And the spring, because the schedule, university schedule changed a little bit, and I'll be sure we change it on the slide too. The spring gets changed. There's my dog, Willow. You'll get to know her over Zoom as well. Then in the spring, you'll have second language reading and writing. And then in the last summer, you will have a foundations of ESL and bilingual education class. So it will be a busy year, but you'll learn a lot, and we are excited to support you as we go. So I will, someone's actually knocking on my door. So I'm actually going to turn it over to Dr. Nyazan if you want to talk a little bit about second language acquisition, Dr. Nyazan, and I'll come back and talk about linguistics in 2 minutes.
Yeah, so these 2 courses are going to be offered in the summer. Like Dr. Lindahl mentioned, linguistics is the one that she's going to be teaching, and it'll be on our downtown campus. And it's going to be partly face-to-face, partly online. Very similar to the one that I'm teaching, different course, but the modality is very similar. Both courses are 4 weeks. And summer 1 semester, you'll be taking linguistics with Dr. Lindahl. Summer 2 semester, you'll be taking second language acquisition with me. So both courses are foundational courses to begin with, and you might have taken similar courses in the past. Yeah, and in both courses will be, intensive in terms of the timeline. And we are working on ordering the books and everything for the courses. We've selected the books already, and yeah, I think that's pretty much it about it. I'm really excited, to be teaching that course with you guys. And I taught it 2 semesters ago, and it's going to be again, very good experience for me to work with you on that too.
All right, thank you, Dr. Nyazan. And I do apologize about the dog. So some of the fun parts of working at home, to which you can all relate, I'm sure. So I was curious, Dr. Nyazan, did you let them know that Tuesday and Thursday, we can look at some that are synchronous and asynchronous? I wasn't sure if you mentioned that, but we'll actually see if you prefer a day. Did you talk about that at all?
No, I
just didn't want to repeat. You did. Okay, great. I just didn't want to repeat. So we do know it's summer and that people have various travel plans or, family obligations, etc. And so with regard to Tuesday and Thursday, we are meeting from 6 to 7:55, but we do have some freedom in the delivery of the course in terms of parts of it are going to be online asynchronous, which means you'll work through activities online at your own pace. And then we will still have either some online synchronous meetings and also some face-to-face meetings. The maximum number of face-to-face meetings in any semester that we have is likely 4. And of course, like I said, we can structure that based on preference as we go. One reason though we would like to do some face-to-face meetings with you all is so you get to know each of the campuses. So we've scheduled one class at the downtown campus and one class at the 1604 campus. So you get to know both of those, as well as, get to know each other, see all the resources that UTSA has to offer, and start to feel comfortable on campus in the summer so that during the regular academic year, when it's a little busier, when you do need to come to campus, you'll already know sort of how to get around and where all of those resources that I mentioned exist, etc. So before I move on, are there any questions about the summer courses right now? If they're more specific questions like syllabus related, we'll be sharing that with you later. But if there's any questions about general format, time, or anything like that, I can pause here. Okay, oops, there go the slides.
Sorry about that. I was trying to unmute myself. So I want to point out to those of you who interviewed with us that at the time we were working under the assumption that the classes would be held about every day, and that's when you'd be expected to work. But it looks like it's mostly going to be reserved to Tuesdays and Thursdays, by my understanding. So that's pretty much when you'll expect to have like actual coursework to do. Although, of course, there's always homework and essays.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Austin. Okay, great. So also, if you have a question that you think of as we go, feel free to put anything in the chat as well, and we will monitor that. All right, so our next topic, actually, I will turn this over to Austin, who can tell you a little more or answer any questions you might have had about your application to the graduate school, and if there's anything that we need to follow up with on that. So go ahead, Austin, thanks.
Yay, and now I'm in control of my computer, so things won't freak out anymore. Yes, so I wanted to talk today a little bit about some of the details that I think may be helpful for you, including like the nuts and bolts of getting into graduate school. So if you have not finished your application to UTSA yet, can you go ahead and give me some kind of reaction in Zoom? Oh, that's actually pretty impressive. Okay, so it looks like most of you have completed your application, and on that, well, very well done. I'm very happy to hear that. For those of you who maybe haven't yet, or haven't finished submitting, I want to talk about how you go about it and the process. So the first is that you should have received a code that will waive your application fee. This is important because it's a lot easier to waive than it is to try and reimburse. So please get that code and use it. And you'll visit this link here, graduateschool.utsa.edu, blah, blah, blah. And you do have to create an account. This is so that you can track your processing of your application as it moves forward, and they can contact you in case you're missing any documentation. So you will have to create that account or log in if you already have one. You need to complete that application. I don't remember what it looks like, and it's probably changed since I applied, so I don't have any pictures, but it'll be pretty standard as far as college applications go. You know, have you studied anywhere else? What's your GPA? Things like that. And then you will have to attach, I'm sure, some additional documents. I'm assuming you'll need a transcript. I know I had to submit a letter of intent. I don't know if anyone else did when they submitted their documents. Sorry, looking at chat here. Oh, you have questions regarding the transcript. Well, I will get to that in just a second. And then once you've attached all your documents, you just submit it, and you can log in periodically to make sure that your application is progressing and if you need any additional information. But I do see that there is a question. So Patricia, what was your question regarding transcripts? You can unmute yourself if you'd like.
Sorry, no, I don't have any questions now.
Oh, okay.
Oh, no, maybe it was Yolanda.
Oh, about the summer. Like,
Okay.
we're going to Mexico for the summer, so we were wondering how that would work, because usually we spend the whole summer over there.
That is something I think you'd have to talk with your professors about.
Okay.
Do you want to talk about that, Dr. Lindell?
Sure. Yeah, we can talk about some ways that you can join the sessions online. So much like we're doing today, we're also, we will record all of the sessions, and there will always be work related to those. But as long as you will have access to the internet and be able to join a Zoom session in this way, then we should be able to make it work for you.
Awesome, thank you.
Okay, I do see the question now. Patricia asks, for uploading transcripts, I don't have any unofficial ones, and you've ordered the official transcripts, but you don't know if they've been received. And do you need to wait for those to be received before you can submit? As far as I know, you should be able to submit your application even if they haven't received your official transcripts, and they can go back and track what transcripts they've received, and if they haven't received them, they can let you know. If they're asking for unofficial transcripts, you'll probably just need to upload a screenshot of your unofficial transcripts, which means you can just log on to, like, if you went to UTSA, you log on to ASAP, you view your unofficial transcript, you take a screenshot and you upload that picture. Or if you went to like a different university, they probably have a similar system for getting an unofficial transcript. I don't know if they ask for unofficial transcripts on the application.
They said unofficial works okay, Austin. I did that, and then I submitted with that, and it went through.
Okay, cool. So unofficial transcripts. So for that, you can just use your a screenshot. If you don't know how to take a screenshot on your computer, if you're on a Mac, usually I think it's Control-Shift-2. And if you're on a Windows machine, there's actually the snipping tool under Windows accessories, and that is really, really useful for a number of reasons. So if those don't work, your print screen button might, or you can Google other ways. I think that there's Chrome extensions to take full page screenshots. So any of those should work because you're just looking for a picture of your grades. All right, are there any other questions about applying to graduate school?
I just want to make sure that I'm clicking on the right certification, because I know you have to choose a program, and I saw one and it has I believe it has Mr. Uriega's name next to it, and it's a certificate, correct?
Yes, Alejandra, yeah, that is correct. So even though we know some of you are interested in the bilingual education supplemental certification versus the ESL, as far as graduate certificates go, to start out, the graduate certificate in teaching English as a second language because it's only for 15 hours, which is what you all are taking. And also it's a non-matriculated degree, which means at this point, you're not seeking a master's degree.
Correct.
Although if after you take a few classes, then you decide you want to be, we can easily switch you over to that. So for right now, that graduate certificate in teaching English as a second language is almost just like a placeholder that routes you to our department and lets you know what content as a larger field you're studying, but within that you can still focus on either BBED or ESL. So that is correct. It's the graduate certificate. And Eric Urriegas, the reason his name is there is because he is the student development specialist who helps us coordinate that. So he was the one who got us all of the codes for application to waive your application fee. And as you move through the program and progress, if you were to graduate with a master's degree, he would be the one to help you coordinate your entire program. So that's sort of where he fits into this puzzle.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Dr. Lindahl, what is the matriculation hours for a master's degree? Like how many more hours?
Yeah, great question, Dr. Duran. It is 15 additional hours. So the total hours for the master's degree is 30. And Project Selfies will get you 15 of those.
So that'll only be a year of coursework to get a master's degree.
Yeah, exactly. After the project, it would just be one more year. That's right. That's right.
One weird thing, Austin, it asks now that I went through all that, I need to get a shot to go to school. So that still, mine's so old. So I got to go get vaccinated, like meningitis or something like that.
Yes. I don't know if that's necessary anymore. If it says it is, it is. I know that when I applied for graduate school, they didn't require it, but they recommended it. But that may have changed.
Okay.
So just double check, and if it is, well, it's a meningitis injection. It shouldn't be too bad. I had to have one when I went to my undergrad.
Yeah, I think whatever the website is at the graduate school is probably the most current policy. So I would go with that. All right. Any other applying to the graduate school question?
So I do have someone saying that they couldn't add all of their academic records to the application because they obtained a bachelor's degree at a Mexican university that wasn't listed. But they did provide all of their academic information for their master's degree, and could that affect the application? I actually couldn't say whether that would affect the application.
Yeah, that's a great question. My guess is if it does affect the application, Eric Urriegas would let us know because he can see the full application on his end. So if anything in his portal were to show up as incomplete, then he would let us know, and then we could reach out to you or perhaps send him a PDF of that bachelor's degree transcript, and perhaps he could add it as a PDF again from his access to the system.
And for those of you who maybe haven't completed their application, don't forget the deadline is May 2nd, I believe. You have to have it done May 1st. It's Sunday. It's Sunday for everyone. So please, please, please get the application in. If you're missing documents, it's a lot easier to do that afterwards if the application is in.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, if you're concerned about official versus unofficial transcripts, they will take unofficial transcripts to start and then just have you basically corroborate your unofficial ones with the official version. So if you have any hesitation about that, also just ask, just let us know. It's easier if we can help you before the deadline than after the deadline.
Mm-hmm. All right, are there any other questions? I love these questions. These are actually really helpful for me.
I actually have a question. I'm sorry, I have a question, Austin.
Yes.
This is Dr. Solis. Do you have access to the people who submitted applications?
I don't have access to the university systems to track applications.
So, for example, if we wanted to reach out as faculties to students who are interested in applying and kind of answer any questions or encourage them or reminders, we wouldn't be able to know who's in process or who has it or hasn't started in case they need some help.
I think Eric would know. And then you'd be able to work with him.
Okay, so I just had a really quick question. Just to clarify, I could go ahead and submit my application with the unofficial transcript and then just wait till they get the official one.
Yes.
Okay, great. Thanks.
I have access to Banner, but I don't have access to everything in Banner, so it's a little bit tricky. I can't quite get everything. Oh, Alita.
Yes, so I submitted my application and then I received an email 2 days ago about the next steps, activating my UTSA, ID account, that I would get an email with that, but I have not received it. Does that usually take another couple of days?
It usually does. In my experience, it took a couple of days for them to assign me an ABC 123 because that was after I graduated. And that's how you'll log into things like ASAP. And I don't know if you use it for Blackboard nowadays. I think you do. But make sure you check your spam folder because those are automated emails and spam loves to eat automated emails.
Okay, and my second question is, I guess through this program, I received my work email, but now when I applied at UTSA, did the application, I put my personal email. So should I be checking both or just one from now on?
So per university policy, when we communicate with students, we have to use your university email. So once you're accepted into UTSA, that is the email we will use as your primary contact, will be your student UTSA email.
Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're very welcome. These are good questions. I like these. All right. One last pause.
Do you think there's going to be a problem if we had an EIN number or whatever, the EID before? Is it the same? Like if I was once a contractor in the summer, I have a UTEID and I didn't, it gave me a new one. So is that going to be a problem?
Is that like you have like ABC 123 or you have?
I don't know. I don't even know what I had before, but I knew I did at one point because you had to have that to log into the system, all those systems y'all have.
My guess is that's going to be different for you because this is okay. From a student perspective, it's a little different.
Oh, I see. Okay, thank you.
But we'll see. Well, I guess we'll have to see. If we can't get a hold of you, though, I will maybe have to email you on your personal email that you provided us when you applied. But I will try your student email first. All right, let's talk about registration. This is always really fun for me as a student. Like, I don't know, it's supposed to be boring, but it felt like shopping for knowledge when I was doing it as a student. I was like, yay, look at all these classes. So I want to talk about how you register for things and how you use myutsa.edu or the myutsa portal. That is one of the best things I've ever used, and I'm so glad that we have this great system now. This is how you'll get access to your Blackboard, your ASAP, and your DegreeWorks, and other systems as well. For those of you who didn't go to UTSA, or maybe it's been a while, Blackboard is the system that we use for professors and students to work out their classes, share their classwork, do their grading, things like that. So when you're working on your classwork, Blackboard's what you'll be using. ASAP is more administrative. It's mostly for admin and staff to work behind the scenes. Now, faculty do use it for grades, but it's largely not for that. It's not for classes. It's for registration, financial aid, things like that. And then DegreeWorks is how you can check your progress on a degree. You probably won't be using DegreeWorks very much, But if you do go for your master's program, it's a great way to figure out what classes you need to take or what options you have without having to constantly email your advisor and figure out and then just make a decision. You can just see the list. So I want to show all of you how to register for classes and what it'll look like. Because I was a student at UTSA, I have access to ASAP as a student. So let me just stop sharing this. And I am going to pull up my UTSA. Here it is. So as you can see, I typed in my and it already went to my UTSA portal. So we click enter. And this is student resources. So this is where you'll be working. You'll have to activate your email account in order to receive student emails. Once you click on that, it'll ask you a bunch of questions and you'll have to enter your email, and it's not going to load immediately because of course it's not. But once you get accepted and you receive that email notifying you to activate your student email, that's how you'll do it. But we're going to talk about ASAP. There's your Blackboard, by the way. This is what ASAP looks like. It'll be your My UTSA ID, which is also called your ABC123 because it's 3 letters and 3 numbers, and your passphrase, which is usually really, really long. In my case, mine is really, really long. So I'm going to log in really quick. There we go. All right. So this is some fun stuff. Don't pay attention to that. Up here, you have these tabs, and these will take you to different places. So if you want to go to financial aid, this is where you go. If you need to add a FERPA release to yourself, that's how you do that. Like my husband went to UTSA, so he had a FERPA for me, so I could go with him to his advising appointments. But let's look at student services. That's where most everything is. We have billing, your UTSA email policy, your student profile, registration, and financial aid and scholarships. Here we are, the new registration experience, fancy with asterisks. And you click on it, it's gonna give the option to register for classes or search for classes. I'm gonna pick register for classes if it'll let me. I'm not sure if it's gonna let me. If you have not used Duo, the Duo authentication, you're gonna have to do that. For UTSA, it's an app you download on your phone, and then you can use that, or you can use text message verification, but we do have a dual authentication system. So our terms, let's look at summer 2022. Continue. Oh no, student status prevents registration. I'm not allowed to register for classes because I'm not a student. Hello, can I just, okay, there we go. So let's go back. And let's search for some classes because I'm allowed to do that. And we know that you're going to be taking ESL classes in the summer. So let's type ESL. Oh, look, English is a second language right there. I'm not going to bother with course number or anything like that. I just want to see what ESL classes we have. You search, and there they all are. So you're going to get a bunch of numbers and things that don't make any sense. And I want to explain these very briefly. So ESL, that's the subject. The course number is just the course number. And then the section is if there's more than one class being taught of the same thing, that's the section. The CRN is the number that you need to add it to your classes. But usually just click a check mark and then you go, there's a button at the bottom that says add to classes. And then that's how you register. For the course numbers, anything 3,000, this first number is going to tell you what year of college you should probably be in when you're taking this class. So ESL 3003 is a junior level class, usually, not always, but usually. And anything in the master's program is going to be 5,000 or 5,000 and 6,000. So here we have ESL 5003. Oh, wait, that's linguistics. Oh, second language, we need that. And it's Dr. Lindahl teaching it. So if you wanted to register for this, there'd be a little check mark over here, or you'd write down the CRN, which you can just get by hovering over it, and then you add it. This will tell you it's a graduate level doctoral work, how many seats are available, where it is, when it is, and you can see it's a mix of in-person and online. Also, if you click on it, it'll give you more information about the class. So if you have questions about what it is going to look like or what you need to do for the class or prerequisites, that's where you can find them. You can also click the bookstore link. And if you click on that, it will take you to the bookstore website and it'll pull up any books that have been entered by the professor. And then you'll be able to buy them from the bookstore or you'll be able to get their ISBNs. Now you will also get a syllabus at the beginning of the class. Usually people put their books on the syllabus just in case they didn't enter it through Blackboard or through ASAP, or if for some reason it just didn't work, because sometimes the system doesn't work. She's old. But that's where you can find all kinds of things. And yeah, we're buying your books, so you don't have to worry about them. Gosh, that's nice. It's so much easier than what I went through. Are there any questions about using ASAP to register? I'm the best person to present on this in the history of the university. Doctors, please make note. No one had any questions about how to register for classes from me.
How soon do we register? I know that we're still in the application process, but when would be the date to register?
That's a wonderful segue into the academic calendar. So these are some important dates for you to know. Of course, you need to apply by May 1st, but the first 4-week and second 4-week term are the dates that you'll be having your classes. And the last day to register for the first 4-week term is the first day of the class. So June 13th. But register before that. It's not super hard. I just showed you. And of course, the second 4-week, the first day of class is July 12th, and that's also your last day to register. Any other questions about that?
We just have to be accepted, right, before we can register?
Yes, you just need to be accepted, and if there are any holds, they will pop up when you try to register. Like you saw when I tried to click register, and it was like, student status prevents that. You can actually usually go to that link and view if you have a hold. Like sometimes financial aid can cause a hold, or advising. If you have an advising hold, you need to go see your advisor. It should show you in that little menu what's causing the holdup. But I don't think you guys will have to worry about financial aid. Oh, well, no, you know what? I'll bet you do have to accept financial aid, right? I'll bet they have to accept their scholarships, don't they?
No, actually, it's all done internally through the university. So you will not have to deal with financial aid.
You guys are so lucky.
I know. we're
red
basically
carpet service.
Yes, trying to take anything that could be a challenge in applying it. We're trying to take care of it all on our end. So no, we are actually taking care of that departmentally through the graduate school. So you have very little bureaucratic forms and applications to fill out.
That's so nice. That's so nice. So yeah, you won't have to worry about that. So the only hold, I can't imagine you'll have an advising hold because you're in the special program. So you probably won't have any holds. If you do, find out what they are or let us know, and maybe we can figure out what's going on. Because we want to get you registered for those classes as soon as possible. So I do want to talk a little bit about these dates. Oh, go ahead.
Oh yeah, sorry, Austin. I just had one thing about the courses. Similarly to how you received a code for admission, right now we've blocked the courses out so that only SELFIES participants can be in those classes. So you all will be just with your own cohort this summer. And so we will be sending you a code that will go with registration as well. Okay, so after you're accepted, then you'll receive another email from us, just checking in, saying hi, and giving you the code to register, because I think if you were accepted, if you instantly tried to register, you might get a little error from the system that says, sorry, that's for SELFIES participants only. And so this way you'll have the code. So when it does say that, you can just enter the admission code. I also saw Hannah had a question, but we are completing this program roughly this time next year. Yeah, Hannah, that is correct. So the way that it works is the fifth class that is actually the foundations class in the summer. Like I mentioned, the order changed a little bit, but we wanted you all to have the foundations class toward the end of the program. So that would be that first summer session. So you would be finished by July of 2023. And that would be right before you take the exam, because a lot of the exam content for both ESL and bilingual education is from that foundations class. So it'll be real recent in terms of the more kind of factual recall policy type questions. Then you will have just had the class, and then you can take the exam right after it. So the entire length of the program is basically June to 2022 and ending July 2023. So there's that last final class is 4 weeks, just like this summer is as well. But that class right now, I believe it's online asynchronous, but the format could change. Again, we are really trying to take advantage of all the newfound flexibility that we have to make things convenient, but still be sure that you get the content and the pedagogical practice that hopefully you'll appreciate and will be useful to you.
Okay, I think I fixed the order now, so that should be right. CBI, then the reading and writing. Okay. So some of these terms aren't going to make sense to you guys who have not been at UTSA, or it's been a long time since you've been in a college environment. So I want to explain them. So the last day to withdraw at 100% refund is that's the last day you can withdraw, and it doesn't cost anything. So if you are going to withdraw by the 10th. 13th will be the last day to register for that course. So technically at a university, that's not the last day to register for the course, but it's so, as someone who had to do it, it is so much harder to register after that day. So don't do it. Just do it. It's the 13th. You have a whole month. You're ready to, oh my God, you have more than a month. You will have plenty of time to get in. Don't end up being me my sophomore year, and get it done. June 15th is the payment deadline. That won't matter for you. But the census date does. So make sure that everything's taken care of. Like if you don't need to take any scholarships, or you don't need to worry about advising, that's what the census date is for. And if those aren't taken care of, they will drop you from the course normally. It probably won't matter for SELFIES because we'll take care of everything. But if you do pursue your master's, that's something you need to know about. Dr. Solis, you have a hand up.
No, this is great information, and really look forward again to seeing all of you and learn more about your classroom context and goals. And when you were talking, Austin, about the drop deadline. So I was thinking, and we haven't discussed this as a team, but I'm thinking that's really important for us to follow those deadlines, so SELFIES doesn't lose out on that money. I'm assuming here, this is the money that we would lose out, and then you won't lose out on the opportunity to perhaps take this course at a later time, right? So you don't have to pay out of pocket if you want to. Life happens. We all know that. These are difficult times, and we don't encourage people to not complete courses, right? But the reasons why these things are set up is because things happen sometimes. And so this drop dead deadline is to help ensure that we don't lose funds that otherwise would be there. So if folks have any questions about that, I think let us know as soon as possible so we can recoup those funds and perhaps keep that money for you for a later time and not lose that opportunity.
Thank you. That's an excellent.
Is that how we're thinking about it, Dr. Linda?
I see a
Yeah, I think you said that very well, Dr. Solis. And again, you know, if something changes, just let us know by June 10th, because that way we don't have to pay out of the grant for someone to not take the class. And if you were to maybe continue in another cohort, or just if you wanted to continue at a later date, then that wouldn't be on your transcript as like an incomplete or a dropped course or anything like that. So that is why those deadlines are important. But if you ever have a question, Austin or the rest of us are certainly here to help.
Absolutely. June 24th is the drop deadline, which is the last day of class that you can drop it and not have it affect your grade. It'll become a W on your transcript and it'll reflect that you did drop the course, but it won't go into your GPA. That is really important. Keep that in mind. But of course, we don't want you to drop the class. Like if you're having trouble, contact your professor. I have to tell every student I talk to, if something's wrong, talk to your professor. I know these professors. I have classes with almost all of them, 3 of the 4 of them that are here. And it's so much easier to say, I'm having trouble, I don't understand, what can I do, than to just leave and they don't know what's going wrong, you didn't get a chance to express what was going wrong, and there was no opportunity for you to try and learn and grow. So please, please, please talk to your professors.
I have a quick question. I know that y'all are partnering with SAISD and Northside, but let's just say, for instance, we were to get an opportunity at another school district that's not Northside or SAISD. Would we still continue in the program?
Yeah, that is a great question, Alejandra. I think we could consider those probably on a case-by-case basis. Right now we're partnering with San Antonio ISD and Northeast. Actually,
okay.
are our 2 inaugural districts. But there's actually the possibility of adding districts as we work through the program, and there is some flexibility there. So if that situation were to arise personally for you, because we know there is some mobility among schools and districts as well, then just let us know and we could chat with you about it and hear about your new position and see if that would impact anything. But yeah, I think we could just take those on a case-by-case type situation.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure.
Excellent question. Are there any other questions about the academic calendar before I move on? I know it's kind of dry. All right, let's go to something more interesting. Parking permits. Woo! The spice of the night. So I know that SELFIES is looking at the propensity of providing parking permits to our students. But if you, for any reason, needed to get a different permit because of mobility issues or timing issues, these are probably the best value that I have for you. And that is the Class C and the Class Z. C is the standards commuter student parking pass. Most everyone who parks on campus has something like this because UTSA has a lot of commuter students. You can park in anything that's not marked employee or reserved. And that's all day. And then during from 4:30 to 6 a.m., 4:30 p.m. to 6 a.m., the times when you'll be in class, you're actually allowed to park in employee B. So you can up park on weekends and nights. So that puts you sometimes a little bit closer or in a different lot, which can be really cool. Or for something less expensive, the Class Z, where you can park only in the evenings. But you have to park in the C spots. You have to park in nothing reserved, nothing employee. But these are kind of the 2 standard cheap ones. There are other ones. If you are Oprah rich and you decide that you want to park in the barrel garage, you are more than welcome to get a permit like that. Look at what's going to work for you and for your situation and for your financial situation. There are lots of types of parking permits, and you can also call the parking people at UTSA. They're surprisingly nice and helpful. I've had to do it multiple times, and they're very sweet. If you want to ask about what are the different permits, what's going to work for me, explain your situation, they can usually help you figure out something that's going to work for you. But let's talk about parking on the campuses so that you understand what it's going to look like. So this is the, wait. Okay, cool. So this is the downtown campus where you'll be at first. And as you can see, it's right off of 1035 South, you know, it's that weird exit. You exit 569C if you're coming down 10. And to come up here across La Trinidad. But this is the campus, and the parking lots are D1, D2, D3, the Durango lot, Cattleman Square, and the Monterrey lot. Those are, I think almost all of those are standard, just anyone can park in them spots. I think Cattleman Square might be an employee parking spot, but I don't know for sure. But you'll be in the evenings, so that means a lot of these will be available to you if you have a C. And you have to cross to get to these, but they are like gated and they're pretty secure and they're actually really nice. There's also the garage. There's a downtown garage. It's a little more expensive to park there, but they do have pay per hour parking if that's something that's going to work better for you. So that is an option for you if you want to be really, really close. Are there any questions about parking downtown or getting downtown? Because I know a lot about it because I had to go downtown a lot.
There is a Starbucks downtown if anyone
There is a
needs
Starbucks,
coffee.
yeah.
Will the majority of the classes be downtown? Because I know she mentioned that there would be some at 1604, but will the majority be downtown?
Yeah, actually, we schedule semester by semester. So right now, the way they are scheduled, we have not scheduled for next spring or summer. So we could look at where those classes are for the fall and let you know. I believe the fall courses are at the main campus. Or no, actually, I believe the fall courses are at the downtown campus. I will double check on those for you. But again, we wanted to be sure you had a mix of both campuses, but I also know that many of you are working closer to downtown, and once school starts, that's a long commute. And so, yeah, we are aware of that. So I believe actually fall we scheduled downtown, but let me just double check for you there because we might still have some scheduling flexibility. The summer, it's a lot easier. Once school starts, though, I know it's hard to get across town one way or the other. So.
Oh, for real. If you've not ever worked with the classroom scheduling at UTSA, it is tooth and nail to get a classroom. And sometimes you don't even get a choice. But the downtown campus is very nice. They have a rec center where you can exercise. They have a library. It's not as large, but it actually has some really cool resources that the main campus library doesn't have. There is a Starbucks. There is actually a real Starbucks in there. And generally the classrooms are kind of a little bit more pinky up. They're a little bit more swanky, got nicer technology. So it's very nice to go there. Let's talk about the main campus, the 1604 campus. So it's huge, and it was built by the Maya. Everything is stairs all the time. You will get your steps in, I promise. But this is sort of like the main area of campus, this MHBB, JPL, MS, that's the Sombria area, which is to say like the sort of center of campus where a lot of events take place. I know that when I was a grad student, a lot of my classes took place either in the main building or in Morrison, or the McKinney Humanities. So these two buildings are really, really important. Also, the ATE office is here in the main building, so if you want to come and see me. But there are a lot of parking spots. A lot of these out here are reserved for students living on campus, so you will not be able to park in those. But we do have a lot of commuter lots, like this BRL right here down in the southeast of campus. That is that's basically all C's and B's. And the same is true of the FL campus. That's a lot of C's and B's. The Jimenez lot, a lot of C's, and actually almost all C's. And then these for the BK 1, 2, 3, or 1 and 2, those are also a lot of C parking. So these are your like main areas. The dark blues you can see are garages. And you do have to either have a permit for them, which is not cheap, or you have to pay per hour. It's not unreasonable. So if you're having an emergency and you're like, oh my gosh, I just got to campus, it's 5:45, I gotta get to class right now, immediately. If you needed to park in a garage, like it wouldn't break the bank. It was like, I think it's like $12 for me for like 5 hours, so $12.50 I think. So that's not awful if it's like an emergency, but it does add up if you're there every week. And once we figure out what kind of parking we'll be able to get for you, then you'll know better where you're gonna be parking. But the Bauer garage, which garage is this? I always forget. It's not the Jimenez garage, it's the other garage. Anyway, that's the other garage, and then there's the Jimenez garage. And they're all relatively close to the areas you're going to be in. The JPL, that's our library. You should go there. They're really cool. You have all kinds of resources. We actually have a librarian specifically for the co-ed education students. Her name is Rachel Kennedy, and meeting her is like meeting the sun. She's just bright and wonderful and so positive, and she maintains a library of teaching resources. So if you want to check out like a book of science activities complete with the science activities, you can. It's free. We have those. Are there any questions about the main campus or the downtown campus?
We should go to a UTSA football game together. I'm just saying.
You should, absolutely. We do. Oh, yes. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm going back and look at the comments. Will we have access to the full university amenities? Yes, because you're a UTSA student. So you'll have access to the recreation center. You'll have access to all of the health services on campus, the JPL and all the offers that the library gives. We also have a co-ed technology center that's specifically for co-ed students. If you need to check out a laptop for the semester or you need a pad, they can hook you up. They're just amazing. Like, they're just amazing people in general. You can get access to the University Writing Center, which is super fun. They will help you write really, really, really good papers. Make sure you book in advance though, and make sure that you have a draft for them so that they can read that in advance. But they're really cool. What else do we have here? We do have a great online library. That's where I did. I used the online library a lot when I was a student. And let's see here.
Yeah, I just wanted to make a note because this might apply to many of you about the fall course. Those are scheduled to be at the downtown campus, but many of us as professors have worked with students who either live closer to 1604 and or who are teachers themselves. So if your campus is a little further from downtown, we have lots of ways of helping you kind of arrive to class on time. One of those is by doing some asynchronous work at the beginning of class. Also, some of the sessions will be online anyway, and some will be face-to-face. So if you're concerned about travel time or arriving right at 6, just know we're a little used to San Antonio traffic and that commute, and are more than welcome, working with everybody. So don't worry too much about that, because even sometimes our own doctoral students who teach classes have to go from one campus to another. So we do know that's a bit of an issue. We're happy to help you out if you your particular campus is a little further away from downtown.
I also want to add, as a super pro tip, as someone who was a student at UTSA and was really, really cheap when he was a graduate student, I didn't pay for a parking permit and I didn't have selfies. So I would park just down the road at 1604 and 10. Underneath, there is a park and ride. And as a UTSA student, you can ride via for free. And there are buses to and from campus about every 15 minutes from there. So if you can't find commuter parking, or you just don't want to leave your car in a parking lot there, that park and ride is really safe. They have cameras all over the place, and you can easily get to and from campus on those buses. What are some other fun facts that I remember about being a graduate student? Oh, there's almost always a snack time in the fall and spring courses. Usually in some of my classes, someone would be in charge of bringing a snack every week, and they would just bring like pita chips and hummus and some carrots. Or I ordered Chinese food catering at one point because I worked at a Chinese restaurant, so it was really cheap for me. But you can do that too. And yes, I'll email you guys this PowerPoint as well as the recording of today's session. So you'll be able to get access to those. And for those of you who are viewing this in the future, hello from the past. It is in December. Oh yeah, absolutely, carpool. It's a great idea.
Yeah, carpooling with your colleagues as you get to know each other, if you're near campuses next to one another, is also a nice idea for parking. But as Austin mentioned, we are working on getting those parking situations squared away. We do have a little more time. And again, in the summer, it's a nice time to get to know campus just because there are fewer people around, which also impacts parking. So I think we are at 7:45, so I don't want to keep you all too much longer. Looks like we have some fabulous ideas in the chat. We've got plans for tailgating and maybe some group gym workout meetups or something like that. So as Hannah's question asked, according to the university, you are considered students just like everyone else. You're paying your student fees through the program and being accepted to the program. So you have access to all of our amenities and resources. And of course, we're happy to share those with you and hope that you will take advantage of those while you have access and use them to support not only your professional learning, but your mental health and well-being as well. That is also important. So Austin, were there any other slides after the parking one? Just wanted to be sure. I think that was our last.
Nope, it's the end.
That's the end. Okay. So if you do have any other questions, feel free to raise your hand or put them in the chat. But otherwise, for right now, our main goal was to be sure we had answered any questions you had about just the application process and give you that information you need to start planning your summer and what that will look like. And then, so step one, application to the graduate school. If you've done that, thank you very much. And step two will be registering for your class as soon as we send you that code. Okay. And also, as I put in the chat, we'll continue communicating with you via the email you provided to us, unless we hear otherwise. And then after we have received word that you are admitted and you've been given a UTSA email account, then we will communicate with you via that email account. So that way all of your UTSA communication remains separate from your personal or other professional communications. So sorry about the third or multiple email inboxes, but that is one way that the system works. So as Carla said, thank you everyone, mucho gusto, so nice to meet you. And we all look forward to working with you. We hope this was informative. And again, we are at your service and happy to help. So if you don't have any questions, feel free to sign off. And otherwise, that's all. Have a great evening and weekend. It is so exciting. We are thrilled about the project. And thank you for being our first cohort.
Thank you. Thank you for the flexibility, because I already have a vacation plan for that week of 4th of July. So I will get with the professor and see how we're going to work that out.
Yeah, sounds good. And actually, Alejandra, that's me. So no problem.
Okay.
Because yeah, that Independence Day week is there's always something. So don't worry, we will definitely work around that. And anyone else who already has something on the radar, just again, communicate with your professors and we will do our best to accommodate, make it work.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Good night.
Everyone, very nice.
Good night.
I'm ready for bed.